to the Majurity Night 2025. I am Ming Fang with the Majurity team and I'll be your host this evening. I would like to take this opportunity to welcome Minister for Law and Second Minister for Home Affairs, Minister Edwin Tong. Can we put our hands together, please? Now, the Majurity Night is an annual appreciation event with our networks of donors and partners. Tonight, we are also celebrating the first anniversary of the Foundry, a social impact hub established by the Majurity Trust where we are all at. Yeah! Now, as you may have seen, our theme tonight is The Tale of Two Elephants. So as you explore the exhibits as well as the activities today, be prepared to confront uncomfortable truths to discover how impact really happens. Now, I hope you have this program booklet on hand because you will need it for the rest of the night. If you don't yet have it, our team will be around to pass them to you, or you could collect one at the registration table outside. Now, to kick off the Majurity Night 2025, let us welcome our CEO, Mr. Martin Tan.
Hello, hello, hello! How's everyone doing? Can I just say a big thank you? It's been just incredible just coming in and you guys are not just on time, but you're just happy here. I know partly it's because of the alcohol, but just really, really thank you for just being here with us for the Majurity Night. Big thank you, Minister, as guest of honor, Minister Edwin Tong, who has been a big supporter of us and especially Foundry. And I think he's going to share a little bit later, but this is probably the fourth time that Minister has been at Foundry, so we just hope there is a home for him as well. And many of our founding donors, our board members, a warm welcome. So the Majurity Night for us, as Ming Fang have said, is our annual night where we bring our donors and partners together. It's our way of saying thank you. You guys have been more than supportive of the work that we do. I know it's really uncomfortable seeing me behind a rostrum because I'm going to give a sort of longer sharing a bit later. But I just wanted to just say a big thank you from all of us. Believe it or not, Majurity Trust is celebrating our 8th year this year. It's quite a remarkable journey. And I was just telling Minister, one of a really important person of ours, Mr. CFO Hua, who's our founding board member, who has really made a big difference in the early years for us. There are very few things that we can do without the people who support us, who journey with us, who love us, who are willing to discipline us along the way, because we're still learning, we're a young team. And along the way, we are picking things up and learning as we go. You have connected with us through a variety of different ways. One of the things that we realize as we talk to different donors and partners is that you interact with us in different ways. Some of you are a grant donor. You support the Youth Mental Health, which is the Blue Star Fund. Some of you join us for golf, and you are a donor and you play with us on the Majurity Charity Invitational. Some of you are Foundry founding donors. And we realize that different one of us know Majurity Trust differently. There's an old fable that talks about how different people who cannot see what they are touching will see a different part of a same animal that we are all a part of. A large part of what we are hoping to do tonight is to be able to perhaps talk about us as a whole. What does Majurity do? What does it mean for us? We use a phrase a lot, which is called doing philanthropy differently, and you interface with us differently on it. We use another phrase over the years about going further with us. How do we take your donations, your support, and multiply them across all the various things that we do? The questions we ask is, how different is different? How do we go further? And I'll add a word, how do we go further together? And why do it differently? So for a start, what I thought I would do is this: maybe invite you at this at least at this opening, into the heart and the inner workings for the Majurity. Over the last few Majurity nights, we've always been focusing a lot on our grantee partners. If you were to indulge me just for one night, we thought this might be a good time for us to share a little bit about our work so that you see the elephant as a whole, as we interact with it in different parts, and maybe it comes together and allowing our heart to actually shine through. So our theme for tonight, for the Majurity Night, is called Uncover the Tale of Two Elephants. So the first elephant is the idea about the elephant in the room. How do we tackle the elephant in the room? The reality is that every time, in every situation, and society issues are technically messy. Sometimes we go for meetings and there are things that are left unsaid, but there are important things to be tackled. Sometimes things are messy and difficult to manage. How do we do work that's important even when it's complex and sometimes inconvenient? A large part of what we try to do is perhaps to take one step back and know what are the key questions to ask, no matter how difficult it is. We don't presume to know the answers, we really don't. But we need to dare to ask why. And I think we have built a team together with our board members to be able to say, you know what, we really should ask this question and ask why do we do what we do? Why do we go in a certain direction? The second elephant that we will be talking about is the white elephant. I know many of you, I know there's a buzz among our friends like, why don't wear white? Because we're going to be talking about white elephants. And you're going to see one upstairs later on. Don't worry, it won't move. But how do we not be a white elephant? How do we avoid using too much resource that actually don't amount to much good? How do we make resources relevant? A large part of what we think is how can we steward relationship and resources entrusted to us by you to meet the most critical need? And that's important for us. We are mindful and intentional in being relevant. One of the things I tell the team that we are fortunate to have the opportunity for Foundry. It's nice, it's been a great place, but if we are not careful, it could be a white elephant. And we certainly don't want that. We want to make sure that every step of the way, we can actually do it and do it in a relevant way. We've been privileged, and I have been privileged to lead a team. This has been a growing team over the last few years. Both full-time, young people, first careers, some who have joined us from government. We just recently have a colleague who joined us from Tote Board. With Tote Board's blessing, I actually emailed CE and said, hey, would it be okay for Siok to join us? I said, yes, it would be great for her. This team is about asking and doing the work of doing philanthropy differently. I count it a blessing because many of you in the sector knows how hard it is to recruit good people. And we've been fortunate to be able to assemble a team that is willing to go the extra mile. So instead of just seeing their faces and instead of just me talking, I thought it'd be good for you to see what they do on a day-to-day basis and some of the questions we ask as a team.
Hey guys.
There are grants out there, but I think the smaller organizations, they're just not getting the grants.
Maybe we can have a mix of both larger as well as smaller organizations, help the donor realize that some of these organizations are more agile, more nimble, more able to meet some of the needs on the ground.
It's usually quite challenging to raise for your back-end function, like finance, the leadership and ops.
You also heard that come up a lot at the Founder Circle dinner that we did, and he was actually one of the ones that raised it too.
I like that we start where they're at, but there are targets that we agreed on.
It might be a good idea to schedule a check-in call with them. I'm sure we can support them by, linking them up with our partners, or even giving them more time to implement.
During the focus group discussions, the migrant workers did share with us that social connection with their peers is actually very important to them.
I think that really aligns with some of the insights that our grantee partners have shared with us on the ground as well.
I'm just not sure that copy-pasting another grantee partner's impact measurement strategy is going to be what's best for them. Maybe instead what we can do is work with them to design an impact measurement framework that suits their needs.
After every movie, there's a line that says, all characters here do not resemble any real life. This is the complete opposite. The one talent that I think the team has is that actually they can act quite well. But in this case, the reason why they can act quite well is actually a lot of what you are hearing isn't just, it is a stage thing just for us for tonight, but those are the questions we ask. Those are the difficult questions. Those are the elephant in the rooms. Those are to ensure there will never be a white elephant with the resources you entrust. And we mean it when we say expect more from us. Ask us the questions because we are also figuring it out. And together, with your support, we can. And that's what the Tale of Two Elephants is. On your way in, you should be given a little booklet, a little program booklet like this. And in it, and many of you have been here for Majurity Night, you will know that it's not a sit-down night. It is really a place where you go around Foundry and you meet grantee partners and actually meet the staff and you actually find out some of the things that we do. There are different activity. So I highly recommend that you actually just flow through the entire thing after the official programming side when we start the tour side of the house. And along the way, there are 13 different cards like this that really unlocks a little bit about how and who we are as an organization. These are our working principles for us at the Majurity Trust. It's our way of sharing with you how we think, what's important to us. They're working principles how we do philanthropy differently in Majurity and how we can work together with you on your philanthropy journey. We're also going to introduce to you grantee partners. There are 3 of them I'll highlight here, but there are 17 of them that is in this room all around the space. Naresh is here somewhere, I know. Naresh is the founder of Impart. I think we're one of the earliest founders and we're so proud of them. Naresh and Joshua, who are co-founders, was nominated Singaporean of the Year as a nominee. So we are extremely excited and very proud of them. They incorporated in 2022. They attained charity status in 2023. And they're one of our first pilot residents when we started Foundry, or the idea of Foundry at Gateway office. So they're one of the 3. And I shared before that the reason why I know that Foundry works is because the 3 pilot organizations have a WhatsApp group of their own without me. I haven't asked them what's on that WhatsApp group, but anyway. But that's in part. You will know Pamela. Pam, where are you? Pam is somewhere. Pam is the founder and CEO of Better Group. We funded them in 2023. They need no introduction. But one of the joys that we have is to work with them to launch their first B2C at Foundry itself. Both a cafe, which provides coffee, as well as a bar, which the drinks they have specially curated for you tonight. So I invite you to have the drink together. And now they have 2 B2C outlets. So we are really excited for their growth trajectory. And then last but not least is Victor. He's the executive director of Kita. Victor, are you here somewhere? There we go. So we funded Victor around about 2022. And then we started working with them using our research, our insights and strategy team to really start thinking about how do they refine the impact measurement that went into their strategy work. And that led to them really thinking about how they can actually do what they do better. And now they launched Kita in this very room. And I know they launched in this very room because they use confetti. And because they use confetti, now we have to clean. So one of the things I realized that because we are no longer renting venues, we now have to do cleaning ourselves. So confetti is banned. But anyways, those are some of the grantee partners. We have 17 of them tonight who have been invited. I hope you spend time getting to know them. Would you please give them a big round of applause? We are really super proud of every single one of them who have a great story to tell. So after the stage side of the house, please join us on the 2nd floor to connect with our grantee partners. We also have a small little theater set up so that we can have a movie screening. One of the films that we're going to show is called One Last Straw, done by Character Leadership Academy. It is exhibited by IMDA in the Cannes Film Festival exhibition and brought in. So we're really proud of how this has turned out. It's really about bullying in Singapore. We highly recommend that you spend some time. I think it's about 20 minutes, Dylan. Around about there, so there's a theater, just please go there. And then it's part of Foundry Forward Fund that we have, I'll talk a bit later on. And we've got 3 other films that the Within Studios, together with our grantee partners, have actually created, each focusing on a subject matter, each focusing on one of our residents. So please help yourself with that. The only one thing we don't have is popcorn. But beyond that, I think it's a great cinema. Last but not least, it's not a Majurity Night without an opportunity for you to get to know new friends. We have friends old and new, and many of you have been journeying with us, so I hope you'll get to know new people. There are people with different risk tag. There are donors, there are grantee partners, there are supporters. So please try to find someone whom you don't know with another different color risk tag and just get to know each other and build the people. So, these are the questions we ask, and this is what's important for us. I hope you will enjoy tonight. I hope you will have the chance to meet our grantee partners. More importantly, I hope you get a peek into our heart and why we want to do what we do. And we can only do it thanks to your support. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Martin. Now, Martin did such an amazing job sharing about why we do and how we do our work. Now, it gives me great pleasure to invite our guest of honor, who has been supportive of the Foundry even before we began. Ladies and gentlemen, Minister for Law and Second Minister for Home Affairs, Minister Edwin Tong.
Good evening, everyone. Before I start, I should tell you that I'm no way like Martin. His exuberance, his flair, and I've known Martin for many years, so he should know that I'm very different from him. But fantastic to have you here, Martin. First of all, good evening to the board members of Majurity Trust, the many distinguished guests, grantees, partners, donors, supporters, sponsors, and the many stakeholders, friends and partners. Earlier on, Martin said I've been here a few times. Yes, I've been here more than a few times. I have come to make coffee at Better Coffee, much to the annoyance of some people. I've come into events by the front door. I've also come into events by the back door. I've challenged the residents here to foosball upstairs and done not bad. So I am glad that I see this as a place that I am familiar with and I'm home, because each time I come, I feel the vibe and the energy, and it really self-multiplies. And it is hard to believe that I first spoke about, what we can achieve at the Foundry just barely over a year ago, sometime in the middle of last year. At that time, it was really still an idea. I know Majurity is celebrating 8 years now, but at that time, the Foundry was really an idea. And I thought this evening I'll share some of my own thoughts with you about the Foundry. You've heard from Martin earlier on Majurity. I'll share a little bit about the Foundry. This was an old space, as you might know. And when the Singapore Land Authority, which is under my ministry, we thought about what we can do to really move the needle on social impact. We thought to ourselves, well, space is going to be a key driver. And what we have is space, and space doesn't have to be the top-notch, posh spaces. Any space, sometimes older ones, innovative ones, we can redesign them. And we asked ourselves, what if we don't only look at financial return as a measure of outcome for the spaces that we have? What if we look at social impact and social return? And if we measure ourselves by the kind of social capital that we can build, or allow people to build and multiply exponentially, what could that do for us? And so with that vision, I think the rest is history. And I'm so heartened and happy to see that a Foundry vision has been brought to life by Majurity Trust in partnership with SLA, with Tote Board, of course with SG Partnership Office at MCCY, alongside many important founding donors like the Lo Tak Kwang Foundation and partners. I know many of you are here today, and it's not possible for me to name all of you. And today, in just a year, you've made this into more than just an old space, more than just a building, in fact. I've been here, as I said, a few times, and I thought I'll recap some of my visits here. I think I came in through that door for Majurity Marathon, if I'm not wrong, right, Martin? Yeah, and it was an annual grantee partner appreciation event, brought close to 100 impact organizations together, celebrating efforts. And it was heartening to see people come together from all walks of life, leaders from different sectors in the industry, corporate, social, with different purpose, different callings, maybe having different causes as well, but coming together on a common platform and a common denominator to pause, to recharge, build new friendships, and find new partnerships across the sector. And I think overall this creates an impact because it tells us that no one is in this alone, and there are always people you can find on that common journey. Another memorable occasion I was reminded when Martin put it on on the slides earlier was the recent launch of Take a Stand, the movement by Character and Leadership Academy. It was held on World Mental Health Day, a very important topic, a very important issue today. And more than 170 parents were present right here as you were seated, along with educators, students, coming together to watch that short film, The Last Straw. I told Fuwa earlier, it's a really good, impactful movie. Just 20 minutes, you should watch it. It's based on a true school bullying case. Was very impactful, really made an impact on me as I saw it through the eyes of the bully, or the victim, and also the people around it. And I think it brought to life something that we all knew was there, but it really brought to life the different angles that one looks at. And when you assume sometimes wrongly that the wrongdoer is always the bully, sometimes the bully is also the victim. I think that's the power of storytelling through movie. And you can see the impact that that can make. So overall, I am so excited to see that this Foundry has become a true hub. Martin tells me that in only a year, this space has welcomed about 30,000 visitors, hosted over 300 events, and facilitated more than 2,000 meetings. I think that's really incredible for just something that's done in a little over a year. So congrats. What began as 14 resident organizations has now grown to 30. I think that's still counting. You're probably going to run out of space soon. So anyway, SLA is somewhere here. You can talk to them. Last year, speaking about Foundry, I shared that communities are built at the speed of trust. And I still hold that very true today in what we see at the Foundry. It's nice to hear how people from all walks came together to donate their meeting room credits to one another. And I understand that your tenants here are not called tenants, but they're called residents, because that's a sense of anchoredness, a place of home, and a shared purpose. There's really no policy or instruction that we can make to say how we can do this and what makes it possible. But I think the residents stepped forward to collaborate because they saw a need, they see needs in a community that requires their intervention. Residents also come together here to collaborate on many shared projects, one of which is the Foundry Forward Fund. Through this fund, seeded by Tote Board, resident organizations have co-designed and run 10 collaborative projects. And for example, some of the projects include those of a diverse group of partners within studios, Kita, and Empower Aging. And I would say that these are not ordinarily entities or organizations that you would assume can work together or come together on a common platform. But I think that's in the power of collaboration. When you're in the same space, all of you are residents, having that shared purpose, sometimes that energy reverberates and you bounce off one another and you draw energy from one another. And together, they co-created a series of 3 short films you saw earlier, inspired from real stories from the ground. And I think filmmaking, storytelling, sometimes conveys messages that speeches like what I'm doing now can't quite do. And I encourage all of you to watch those. None of these projects, however, could have been achieved alone. It really takes like-minded individuals coming together, and I can see them working with a purpose in mind, putting aside their own interests, their own egos as well, and leveraging on each other's strength to brainstorm ideas and solutions. I've often said that our social compact cannot just be about policy. In fact, it is not. It is about participation, and it is a deeply shared responsibility. And to achieve this, it means that sometimes we have to inconvenience ourselves and go out of our own way to support others, even when it might inadvertently create a bit more work and, like the elephant in the room that Martin pointed out to, a bit of messiness, untidiness, and a little bit more complexity in the work. Take, for example, Pro Bono SG, something I'm familiar with intimately, and Better.SG, 2 enablers in the Foundry ecosystem. Leveraging on their individual strength in the legal and in the tech communities, they have uplifted organizations in the ecosystem by bringing their own expertise and their networks together. And I'm proud that our friendly lawyers, Chen Ying and Lian from Pro Bono SG, they even regularly provide corridor consults on legal matters. No such thing as chargeable time on that space. It's all for the common good. And I think this is precisely what a thriving society should look like. And I hope that more and more spaces can replicate the model that you have here to bring people together, to build a thriving ecosystem, and to understand that collectively we can be much stronger than the sum of our parts when we come together. So this evening, I know you have a full program and you can't expect anything less from a program planned by Martin and his team, but I wanted to just conclude by warmly adding my congratulations to not just the Foundry for the year, but to the Majurity Trust Board and your team. And also this evening to really give a special shout out to the many volunteers who work tirelessly, often behind the scenes, unspoken and sometimes unseen, oftentimes unseen, but really invaluable in the work that you do. And I want to say thank you very much to all of you for building not just Majurity, but for making the Foundry tick, making it work. And as you celebrate the first anniversary of this Foundry, if I can leave you with just one message, it is that Foundry's success is not built on individual initiatives, but really on the strength of the collective community, and as I said, built on the speed of trust. And I hope that you will continue with this formula, continue to exponentially grow and impact others, so that collectively, when we talk about an inclusive Singapore and a kind Singapore, it is no longer and cannot be just by way of slogans, but that it will be lived experience. It will be what we leave behind for the next generation. And if there's one gift that we have this year, as SG60 year, it is to inculcate that sense of recommitment to building a stronger Singapore, so that it's not just for ourselves, but for generations to come. We will have a kinder, more inclusive, and more compassionate Singapore. Thank you very much for all of you, to all of you for the work that you do.
Thank you, Minister, and a warm round of applause for him.
We are one. It's been an amazing year of lots of laughs, tons of adventures, and a couple of collaborations along the way. Come hear what our residents have been up to.
I love the atmosphere. There's nowhere like Foundry. Everyone's friendly. You don't feel like tension or disturbing anyone. We're just working in the space.
Foundry has been a home base that I can do deep work for the stakeholders and my community. Come and experience this for yourself.
Kind of everybody I know in the impact space is here, so it's kind of really nice to come here and bump into people I know and not to feel that I'm alone in this space. So that's why I'm here all the time. Too much actually.
So I've been here at the Foundry and we've been spreading the word on our non-profit legal services for social enterprises, ground-up initiatives and charities. So we've been providing them with the legal help that they need so that they can focus on their work better.
Finally, a place we can call home. We've always worked in more corporate offices, but we really wanted a place where we meet other people that share the same values, people that want to build something together, collaborate, and also work really hard on their own mission.
Whenever we need any help, help is always available. This is a fantastic place to grow for any new non-profit organizations.
The Foundry team is super helpful and there when we always need something and always setting up initiatives for us to meet other people from the different organizations.
I love the people, the space is beautiful and there's food and drinks. There are amazing people, speak to them and just really enjoy and understand more about the community.
I think it's been a nice space, it's fun, it's collaborative and it's also where all the charities here make a bigger impact.
I like the community the best, a group of like-minded people supporting one another with a common goal to do good.
Foundry allows us to experiment with things that are spontaneous. So I started this thing called Mindful Mondays at Foundry for founders like myself to connect with other founders over journaling. It's very important for you to find your tribe, to reach out, and it's okay to come as you are.
I really like the space, also the friendships that are being forged, and also the time that we can spend together talking about how we can make Singapore a better place for all.
Foundry has been a really wonderful place for us, especially for my team because we get to play together, we get to work together. In the past, we used to be out there in the community, meeting at different places and then going together when there's only programs. But having this space here really helps us to have a place that we can call home also.
It's moments like this that you wish you're not the venue owner. I hope you enjoyed that. It's been an incredible journey. Minister, thank you. And I really enjoyed that last challenge. Really, impact can only be done together. It's really the power of the collective And we're really glad that Foundry is a place for that. Foundry isn't just an idea, it's really just a dream that we have been brewing, I think, over the last 8 years. And over the last 8 years, it has been an incredible journey of just building bit by bit to reach where we are today. I remember Carrie from SLA, and we had lunch, no, actually we had breakfast at Dempsey. And I remember telling SLA and said that, you know what, I'm not asking you for a property and then I'm going to find people. I'm asking you for a property because I already have a community needing of space. And when we launched Foundry, we immediately have 14 residents that came in, and now we are 30. So a large part for us, in just thinking about Foundry as a whole, is maybe a quick recap of how we ended up here, in this place. Because the Majurity Night is really a night where we report to you as our donors and our supporters what we have been up to, and hopefully as a way of us being accountable to you with intentionality and hopefully with heart. It is a night where we celebrate a year of just, we feel, just incredible impact, something we are truly thankful for. We've funded now 80 grantee partners just in 2025 alone, and many of them have become really good friends. We know them. Some of them have been multi-year funding, so we know how they have grown, like Impart being one of them. We have 14 donors who are on our leadership council: Antonia, Alvin, Sin, Kevin, Jonathan, and Elaine, Fu Hua. They have been just tremendous supporters of us. And our leadership council are very important for us because they care enough to tell us things that we need to hear, and that has made a difference in how we work and what we do. In total, this year, we worked with 80 donors, and I'm really happy to share that by the end of this year, with all the pledges that's coming in, we have raised $22.1 million for the charities that we support. We just don't take it for granted how donors have entrusted us with this and how we've been able to redeploy that to the charities on the ground. That's 2025. Since 2018, when we first started over the last 8 years, we have the opportunity to raise almost $81 million from 600 donors and supporting 380 grantee partners. All thanks to you. Of the 600 donors, 55 of them give us 95% of our funds. And of the 55 of them, about 22 of them give to our operating cost. It's just an incredible journey to know that we can count on people who believe in what we do. But numbers only tell one part of our work. Sometimes we get caught up with headline numbers, which is great. But the impact is in the stories, the impact is in the people that we work with and the journey that we have. We've been building, and many of you have seen this, and as I shared earlier, some of you have interacted in different parts of us. And there's one slide that's always in all our different decks, and this slide. This is how we think. Important to us is that donors like yourself are a big part of our community because you allow us, you give us the resources, you trust us with the resources. But the other group that we journey with that is as important to us are our grantee partners. So when people ask us, who is your customer? Who are your clients? I always say I got two groups of clients. I have my donors, whom are very important to us, but also our grantee partners, because their well-being and their success is as important to us as our well-being and our success of our donors in their giving journey. Because with this, we can work together. We can bring the power of collective together in an infinite loop, being able to channel resources to great people and doing great impact that allows donors to do more. We've been building our philanthropic giving over the last 8 years. We've now have 12 different philanthropy funds. We've just found a donor who have seeded our 13th fund in the area of social finance, which we'll share more next year. We're really excited about that. But it's allowed us to give towards youth mental health, elderly dementia, migrant workers, as well as charity startups to help them along in their journey. Over the last 8 years, over just 2025 alone, these are the reports that our insights and strategy have actually put out. Many of you who are our grant donors, you'll receive the donor report for the particular fund. That's been great. And through our many different research partners, we've been able to push out research content that allow us to make sure that we crystallize the way we think and the way we give. And it's not just about us doing the work. We have an insights and strategy team that has built them, but we've also built up great partnerships, both in Singapore as well as regionally and globally, to be able to help us understand subject matter better. We have Sattva that we work with, who's based in Mumbai, to help us think about capacity building for the charity sector and for our sector and our ecosystem. We work with TSIC, which is the social investment consultancy, to really understand where social finance can go into, which is the next play we have. Joanne is here from RFI, and then we have Stacey from Real Impact. And in 2026, we've started and we've commissioned IPS to help us understand thriving communities a lot better. Evidence is at the cornerstone of how we think where our funds should go. And it's informed by the ground, but with their help, we have been able to understand and have a greater insight for greater impact. But not just the research side, what we think in helping our charities and our grantee partners is also to build their capability. When you saw the grantee video, the Foundry video earlier, you will realize that a large part of this community is about a space where we can actually do capacity building programs. We run master classes with Talent Trust, who's here somewhere as well, one of our residents. We build capacity building program that we talk about fundraising, strategy work. How do we help grantee partners to be better versions of themselves? More than just giving a check, but how do we wrap around them an ecosystem of support to help them do what they do better? Because that's all they dream about, to create better impact. We spent time building a donor platform, and many of you know this slide really, really well. We want and work with you on a one-stop solution where you don't have to go to multiple people to achieve your goal. The way we think about it is how do we help you realize your philanthropy impact and your philanthropy giving by providing a more end-to-end from research, from understanding the ground, all the way to galvanizing platform, from grant administration to monitoring evaluation. The team that we have built has allowed us to be able to work with donors on an intimate basis, with families, with corporate foundations, with individuals. And in doing that, we build an impact ecosystem. From events like this, where it's kind of a platform where friends come together and exchange ideas. And sometimes, one of the Majurity Night, we feature one of our grantee partners who ended up raising $500,000 from another of our friends who didn't give money to us but gave to them. So I say, hey, you owe me commission though. But we absolutely love that. Platforms like this are what matters. Often a lot of our smaller charities just lack a platform to share what they do. So I highly encourage you to get to know them on level 2, there's 17 of them. Every single of this platform is our touch points to bring the ecosystem together about what we can do further. 8 years of doing philanthropy differently with over 600 donors, with over 380 social impact partners. We've built a dynamic ecosystem to help us address critical societal gaps so that more among us can thrive. How can we do that more? And we've taken that, applying what we do best as the majority model, if you remember the infinite loop. We have now taken one more step and now taking that into a place. Thriving Communities Initiative, or we call it TCI, we love abbreviations, so it's called TCI. It's about us doing a place-based philanthropy. How can we take the same concept of working with donors and the ground and activating citizens? What does it mean for philanthropists to actually play a role in a location itself? And we're piloting it in Yishun in Chongpang. And we've been seeing great results. We've been taking this, working with the residents, working with the ground leaders, local businesses. How do we find philanthropists who have local ties to their place so that they can come together? How can we work with merchant associations to say, hey, if we have a funder to match every dollar, will you give more? Can we build a fund that's actually completely run and given by the residents themselves? Over the last 18 months, Ming Fang, who is our MC as well, has been on the ground in Chongpang, actually working with the residents, doing resilient trails, supporting them, working with the partners on the ground. Yishun Family Service Center, Yishun FSC, I think who's here somewhere, has adopted her. So she has an office space there. And now Yishun has an office space at Foundry. It's a good bartering trade. How do we find stakeholders who will live, work, play in the neighborhood? It's the same concept. It's believing in the power of the collective now in a place. And if the model works after the pilot, we can transplant this to other places, working with partners like PA to scale and say that, hey, residents, and I always remember Eugene saying this to us, and on a board, he reminds us constantly that we must always see people as potential, not as problems. And I love that. And that's guided a lot of our thinking in looking at how we activate this. So this has been what on the pilot we've been doing, from community engagement to capacity building to MEL work and a strategic partnership. And I've shared we're working with IPS to do a study in terms of how this can actually work. So I'm excited. In 2026, we're going to officially launch. I think it can work. And we found a donor who is supporting us, and we're going to be launching in 2026. So akan datang will share a lot more. Last but not least, we've talked a lot about this, and Minister have shared some of the numbers. It is quite crazy, Kerry, from a breakfast to where we are today. This news came out in March after Parliament sitting, and then Minister was the first GOH to actually announce Foundry and shared the visuals to a group of partners during majority conversation. And since then, we've converted what was this. Some of you may remember this building. And this was the inside when we took over, and how the place has completely transformed thanks to this group of people who have the build team with Wohab, Jasco, and the likes have really made this place. We have renovated the entire place in about 7 months. And it's been incredible. So this photo was taken 1 week before our TOP, where we had lunch to thank every single one of them. Because without them, we wouldn't have this place that we call home now. 28 November, President gracefully was here to share and launch Foundry, which was really meaningful to us. 1 year of inspiring, 1 year of enabling, 1 year of co-creating. And what you see today, and the people here, are just that community who love each other, who support each other. And Minister, you talked about it in your speech. One of them ran out of meeting room credits. She just put on the app, we have a Foundry community on WhatsApp group, and she said, guys, I'm running out of credits. And very quickly, other residents decided to donate their credits because they don't need to use as much. All without an intervention from us. It wasn't us who go to people, the community just came together. On level 1 and level 2, we have Forged, which is our photo exhibition. We asked our grantee partner, our residents, to say, send us your best photos of your time here. So I hope you have a chance to have a look on your way up. 1 year, over 30 residents now, and I know we have a wait list. I don't think we're going to talk about new property yet. Let me breathe a little bit first. Have more breakfast. We have 130 people who call this home and work out of this space, who really have become really good friends. They have a WhatsApp group without us still, and that seems to be a common phenomenon. We run over 343 events, 2,650 meetings they have taken in this place, and 31,000 unique visitors who have visited this place. All thanks to a team of 5 people who are running Foundry from a facilities point of view. So I think they deserve a really, really big round of applause. I'll let you in on one secret. None of them have ever run a facility before. But they've taken on a mantle, they join, and they realize, you know what, we can do this. If we're prepared to say, we'll learn along the way. These are the 30 residents. I won't go into the 130 individuals with a cafe and bar. And this is how I tell my friends, in a social impact space, we need 4 things. We need money, we need office, we need coffee, and we need alcohol. All 4 of them you can find at a Foundry, so this is a great place for that. Foundry has become a living and porous ecosystem. Nearly 1 event a day. What's more exciting for us is more than 80% of the events that's being held here are not by Majurity Trust. It's run by the residents and the wider ecosystem themselves. And to us, that's a really important number. It'll be crazy if this whole place is only used by Majurity Trust. Actually, we are one of the lesser users to a certain extent, and that's what we are really excited about. It's a physical manifestation of an impact ecosystem of donors, social impact partners, and communities 8 years in the making. One of my donors said this to me, said that, Martin, what you do and how you do is rather labor intensive. And it is true, and you saw the staff team that we built, it is labor intensive. But I can't think of another way to do what we do. Because philanthropy cannot be just a grunt. It really cannot. Because if we're about impact, then we need to do impact together. How do we journey with them? How do we have grantee partners who's willing to come to us with their problems? And how can we as a team actually help them solve it? But we are also accountable to you as donors with intentionality and with heart. One of the ways that we hold ourselves accountable to our donors is to always maintain a steady state. For every dollar I spend on operating costs, we'll raise $4 as a whole, with 75% going to the charities on the ground. And that for us allows us to build and scale, finding donors who will believe in what we do. This 75% of the funding we raise allow us to go through our philanthropic funds into supporting the charities on the ground. 90% of my donors do not give to our operating funds at all. 100% of your donation to each of their funds goes straight to the charities that we support. And we find that to be the best model we can think of to be able to unlock more resources from you. But that 25%, that upside of the house, is what the magic happens. It allows us to all the things that we've talked about, to be able to build insights and learning so that we're guided by evidence, to be able to talk about building capability and grantee support, to build things like a model within a place like Chongbang with thriving communities, to build a donor platform, to build an impact ecosystem, and to build Foundry. When we say doing philanthropy differently, this is what we mean. How do we go the extra mile to be able to support our grantee partners? Because if they want to do good, how can we reduce friction for them? And how can we support them along the way? These are the people that we're building for. Because 100% of the Majurity Trust is about them. It's about the people that we work together with. It's about you, our donors. Because an ecosystem isn't just one part of the party. It's a multi-part of the party. It's all of us coming together. All these are possible because of you. I can't say enough how thankful I am, and the team knows this because I tell them quite very often. We don't take for granted the trust you have given to us and the resources you trust us with. We really don't take for granted. We will try and we'll do our level best to be able to do what we do as best as we can. Because of you, this group of people can do as crazy things as they can achieve in a place like Foundry that's only made possible because of your generosity. So on behalf of all of us, our grantee partners, our staff, and our board, can I just say a big thank you to every single one of you. Thank you very much. It is 1 year, and I think we should have a celebration. So, Ming Fang, can I pass the time back to you?
That is right. Thank you, Martin. So 8 years of Majurity Trust and 1 year of Foundry. Can we give a big round of applause to yourselves as well? So in celebration of the Foundry's very first anniversary, we would like to invite Minister Edwin Tong back on stage, Ms. Elaine Loh, Chairperson of Loh Tak Kwang Foundation and Board Member of the Majurity Trust, Ms. Malena Rothschild, Head of the Foundry, as well as Martin, to join us on stage for the cake cutting ceremony. So what you see is our Foundry logo, and we will invite the guests to take up a knife. And in 3, 2, 1, celebrating the first anniversary of the Foundry and to many more good years to come. Another round of applause, please. We would now like to present a token of appreciation to Minister Edwin Tong for gracing this occasion. May our guests remain on stage as well. We would also like to invite our founding donors on stage to join us in a group photo. Mr. Xie Fu Hua, founder of Binjai Tree Foundation. Ms. Yong Xin Yue, Group Managing Director of Quark Singapore Limited. Ms. Antonia Hui and Leonardo Drago of Clotho Family Office. Mr. Kevin Kwan, Executive Director of Birchwood Investments. And Mr. Elvin Lim, Chief Financial Officer and Executive Director of Musim Mas Group. All right, we will look at the photographer. And happy 1 year anniversary to the Foundry. Give yourselves a big round of applause. Thank you, Minister Elaine and our founding donors. Minister will now proceed to the Forged exhibition to meet with our grantee partners. For the rest of us here at the Foundry floor and the refinery, the night is just getting started. So we want you to continue partnering with us in this journey, and we invite you to take a deeper look into the tale of two elephants. There are activities across level 1 and level 2, and as Martin shared, do remember to collect your gift cards. You may start with tackling the elephant in the room just right behind, and while you're at it, grab some food and drinks, and connect with each other, our team, as well as the rest of the grantee partners. Feel free to approach any of the staff if you have any questions, and once again, we thank you for joining us at the Majurity Night 2025.